Hi guys, welcome back to Maple Hill Farm, and in today's podcast we're talking about compost and what you do with it and how to make it and, well, what it's good for. So, we'll start off with a general overview of compost, and number one, obviously, if you're in the homesteading world, you probably already know this one, but it's very rich in nutrients, so it's great for a lot of plants. It's great for pretty much almost every plant. You can overfeed some plants, but with compost, it's really hard to overfeed as long as it varies in nutrients and it's not overloaded with some nutrients which can overaccumulate in the soil over time. But generally, it's hard to get enough nutrients in the soil. And it's great for improving the soil. So if you have a very heavy clay like we do, it's great for conditioning that, making it more drainable, making it so it doesn't turn into cement when it gets baked in the hot summer sun, and it just helps it hold water better when it gets really hard and dry. And for sand, it actually helps sand hold in more water because sand can drain too fast, and it just improves the soil. So compost can improve basically any soil, and I really don't know anybody that has a perfect black soil before they added compost. It just was already there, because that would be amazing. And compost should be added yearly because plants take a lot of nutrients away from the soil, and compost should be added yearly. You should do soil tests to make sure you aren't over adding some nutrients, because that's a possibility. Don't do that. But just test your soil, maybe every 2 to 3 years, and add that compost yearly. You can get compost from chicken manure, duck manure, cow manure, horse manure, pig manure, whatever. And you don't even need manure to make compost. It's a helpful addition in it, but you don't even need it. You can just compost your kitchen and garden scraps also. And we'll talk about vermicomposting or vermicomposting, however you say that. So basically just composting with worms. And you get a vermicast or vermicast as the end product. Not quite sure how you say that one either. And it's very nutrient rich. It's basically just worm manure, and that's great for your soil too. And what you do is you get a whole bunch of worms, you put them in a container. Somehow it can be homemade. They sell some online, and then you just let them go to work. There's certain things you can't feed the worms though, because it can be harmful for them. Don't put citrus peels in there, and don't put anything non-compostable, obviously. So composting with worms is another great option, and you can order a lot of worms in one package, like as baby worms online. There's companies like Uncle Jim's Worm Farm, and there's some other companies too. I think you can even order them on Amazon maybe. So check those out online. And composting with chickens is another great option, because you do need a big pile, because if you have a tiny pile, it'll scratch it all over. It won't break down fast enough. It's not a good compost pile. I actually have been doing this for about a week or so now with my own giant compost pile in my backyard. It's next to my chicken coop. It's actually mostly what I just scraped out of the chicken coop. Some of it is kitchen scraps, and we will be adding to it with kitchen scraps. And the chickens love to scratch and play on that pile, and they help it break down, and they probably even poop on it, so there's more manure. So it's just more nutrient dense, and in this spring we're going to have a great big old compost pile to add to our garden, and that's going to be awesome. I'll probably do a video on that. And only things chickens can eat, because don't feed them anything that they might, don't put anything on the pile that they might eat, and it could be poisonous to them, because you don't want a dead chicken. And so thanks for listening today, guys. Be sure to check out some of our other podcasts. I'll have those somewhere on the screen coming up there. And be sure to subscribe, like the video, and thumbs up really helps us out. Okay, guys, thanks for listening to today's podcast episode. You can comment below with what you liked about it, any suggestions on future podcasts. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. This is Al from Maple Hill Farm, signing out.